Welcome to the Little Likac podcast. My name is Amanda and I'm coming to you from Derby in the United Kingdom. This is a knitting and crochet podcast and I'm here to share lots of yarny goodness with you, show you what I've been working on, and this week it is episode 69. We have a giveaway winner to announce from the last podcast. I don't have any finished objects for you this week. I have got some new acquisitions, I have got some new cast ons, and I have got some works in progress. So yeah, you are very welcome to my channel. And actually, because I have had some new subscribers over the last month or two, and people have been commenting and asking a few questions, I thought I would just do a little bit more of an introduction about myself at the beginning of this video. Promise not too long, because I know there are quite a lot of you who are returning viewers, which I'm incredibly grateful for. It was so lovely actually to read the comments on the last video, because obviously it was the 1,000 subscriber kind of giveaway last month, and lots of people commented to say that they had been watching from, very early on, or even right from the beginning. A few people saying I was one of the first knitting YouTube channels that they watched or had subscribed to. So that was just lovely. So thank you if you have been with me for the whole nearly 3 years. And I really, really appreciate it. So yes, my name is Amanda. I am actually a full-time teacher. I am also a part-time indie dyer, and it is part-time and it does go very much like this depending on how much time I've got to dedicate to the business, because there are times of the year when I have to dedicate a lot of things to my teaching job and my other job, which is actually exam marking. So it won't be long, actually another couple of months, and I will probably be fully into exam marking. So yeah, I like to keep myself busy. I live here in Derby in the United Kingdom, which is kind of like very central in the United Kingdom, and I live here with my husband. We do have 2 daughters who come and go. They're at university, so they literally sort of, youngest one, who's in her first year at uni, she comes home quite often because she doesn't live that far away. Her uni's much closer, and she also does some part-time work. So she comes home every few weeks, does a few shifts of her work, then goes back up to uni. Eldest daughter is in her final year, which means that she will be coming back and living at home for a few months before she goes off to do her masters at another university. We also have a dog, Stu, who makes appearances sometimes. In fact, in the last video 2 weeks ago, if you haven't watched it, he decided he wants to come and join me and was sat on my lap all the way through the video, so that was fun. So yes, what I was going to tell you, so somebody, in fact a couple of people have asked about where the name Little Likac comes from. Good question, and I wish that there was a good answer. The answer is actually probably a little bit boring, or a little bit disappointing, or just a little bit random, but I will tell you. Because I did tell the story of this probably in the first few months of podcasting, so nearly 3 years ago. So yes, I will tell you where that name comes from. Right, so I love purple. Pretty much any shade of purple I really love. As you might be able to see from the jumper I'm wearing today, from hugs back here. It was actually a gift from a friend. But yeah, I love purple. And back in the day, 20 odd years ago, when online stuff first really sort of came about, and this idea of creating a username, an anonymous username online sort of started off, and I wanted to create a username for, I can't even really remember what it was. I think it was like a game website, and I wanted to create a username with something to do with purple, but all the things that I typed in as possible usernames had already been taken. So I started thinking, rather than purple, because I think I put in purple 01, purple 02, purple whatever, and they'd all been taken. So then I started to think of other colours that were similar to purple, like lavender or I don't know, mauve, whatever. Again, all had been taken. All these usernames I was trying to come up with some kind of purple in them. So then I decided I was going to see what about lilac, because because, you know, lilac is a pretty colour of purple. So I put in lilac, lilac 01, lilac 02, and I kept typing away. And eventually I put in Lilac66, which is not my birth year. It was just literally random numbers. And I put in Lilac66 and it came up, said username available. I was like, right, okay, hurrah, I'll be Lilac66. And typed in the rest of the info, registered for this game. And then I saw that my username wasn't Lilac66 at all. I had mistyped it. It was a mistype, Likac66 with a K. And I was like, oh my God, I've just spent like 10 minutes trying to create a username and I've got this crummy username. And then I thought, well, you know what? I bet nobody, well, clearly nobody else had that username. And so it just became a thing that when I joined anything online, that was the username I used. So yeah, anything you find out there now with Likac66, that's me. But actually that is also my Ravelry username, and I don't think I've got anything like dodgy out there. It was like I was on a Weight Watchers site, I was on maybe some gaming sites, who knows what else, but nothing dodgy, to be fair. So yeah, so that's where Likac came from. And in fact, actually, on Ravelry, I was Likac66. And also I had, I mentioned Weight Watchers. I used to go on the Weight Watchers forums. This is 20 years ago. And I was Likac66 on there. And I actually met a lot of friends, people that I actually then met in real life through that forum 20 years ago. Some of them even came to my daughter's christening. And so when I was trying to think of a name for like the YouTube and, well, the company, the indie dyeing, again, I wanted something, I guess I wanted something purplish, and I was thinking of alliteration, and I had a list of different things. I can't remember what else was on there, but I kept coming back to using Likac because I thought, you know what, that's been my online presence, that's been my online name as me personally for 20 years, and I have an identity with that name, Likac, even that, and my friends who I'd met through this Weight Watchers board, friends that, as I say, I've literally met in real life, I've kept in contact with. In fact, I met up with them in Scotland last year. Some of them, you know, refer to me as Likac, but it felt like part of my identity in this kind of strange online way, and that's where it came from. And I have had one person at a yarn show told me I should change it because it sounds like the French for poo, which I think is cac, which I thought was, you know, not the nicest thing to say to me, but other than that, it is what it is. I am little Likac, and yeah, it just seemed to fit. So that's where the name came from. Yeah, actually, as I've just talked about that and kind of almost like trying to apologise for it, I realised, no, I do see it as part of my identity because it has been a kind of online name for me for over 20 years. So there you go, there is where it comes from. So that is the story behind the name of Little Likac. And I know it's actually, in some ways, it's probably not great business sense, because if you type in Little Likac, your browser, your phone, etc. will probably autocorrect it to Little Lilac all the time, and you have to kind of force it to say Likac. But there you go. Again, though, when I chose it as a username, I thought, as a business name, I thought there's no way that's going to encroach on anybody else's business name either. So I felt it was quite safe in that respect. So there, yeah, that's me. It's taken me 8 minutes to tell you about that. Right, so any other questions that people have asked me? Somebody asked a question about the blanket that isn't behind me today. It was a granny stripe blanket, thank you very much. It was just using Attic 24 granny stripe pattern, which is a free pattern on the Attic 24 blog, and it was using a yarn pack from Attic 24. It was the Sweet Pea yarn pack, but instead of doing the Sweet Pea pattern, I did the granny stripe pattern. Okay, so shall we get on with the show? Yay, let's do that. I'm going to do the giveaway first, because I know what it's like actually if you come on to watch a YouTube video because you want to see if you want to see that you've won something. It can be then really frustrating, waiting and waiting and waiting. So let's do that. Now again, because I filmed up in the house last time and today I'm filming down in the garden, I forgot to bring down the skein of yarn, which you can't see anyway because it's a mystery skein of yarn. The winner of this giveaway, we're celebrating the fact that I hit 1,000 subscribers, and the winner of this giveaway is going to be receiving skein of yarn from the Little Likac Advent 2023. It was the day 25 skein. What I've actually got here is the the wrap that I made with all the advent colours from last year's advent actually. I will be doing an advent again this year. I'm really excited about it. I can't tell you too much in the way of details yet. I normally launch it in July. I think I will do the same again, but I am going to start possibly dying for it earlier than that, because it's surprising how long it takes. But yeah, I'm so excited about the theme for it this year. Right, anyway, skein of yarn. So yes, it is a single skein of yarn in the luxury, Little Likac luxury base, which is 85% merino wool, superwash merino, 15% nylon. It is so soft and squishy. You can use it for socks. I knit a lot of socks in it. You can use it for a beautiful shawl or put it into whatever project you like. So let us do the comments. So I've already loaded up the comment picker. There are 87 comments in, there were 87 comments left by, let me just get it to come out. Yeah, 87 YouTube comments, and let us do the, right, are we ready? Winner is, whoever that person is, can't see. It is blah blah blah. It says, congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. I really enjoy your podcast, enjoy seeing all of your projects. I've joined in the sock mal and having fun. So I think I'm going to need to go onto my comments to see who left that, because I don't think that's giving me their proper name. It's just sort of like saying user dash and lots of random numbers, etc. Let me take a screenshot of that so I know what I'm looking for. Oh, actually, right, okay, I have now got their name. Right, Shah Riggs. Okay, so Shah Riggs, thank you so much for entering. You have won that skein of yarn. Please get in contact with me. My email address is littlelikac@gmail.co.uk. No, littlelikac@gmail.com. Okay, so please get in touch with me. Let me have your address and I'll get that posted out to you. Now, the winners actually from the last giveaway, which was 2 weeks ago, were both in Canada actually. I couldn't believe it that they were both in Canada. I have got a confession to make. They are parcelled up, they are labelled up, they are ready to post. Because they're going internationally, it's always, I tend to go down to the post office in person and fill out the paperwork down there. So unless it, yeah, so I need to do that. And also then this week, because I was going to do that this week or this weekend, we had a little bit of an emergency which cost us a lot of money. Basically, our drains in our garden got blocked. Apparently tree roots had got into them, and we ended up with a pretty disgusting mess. That's all you need to know. And it's cost us quite a lot of money to get them unblocked, but also to get them treated and lined so that those tree roots can't get into them again. So that's actually cost us a lot of money. We're hoping we can claim on the insurance, but long story short, the winners from last week, from 2 weeks ago, your parcels are ready to go. I will be posting them next week after payday, and I will post so the Shah Riggs's prize as well. If she gets in touch with me before next weekend, that will get posted then as well. So yes, probably too much information there for you. All right, so yeah, that is the giveaway for this video. However, if you are taking a part in our sock along, your Socks In You Know It make along, I will be picking a prize again next week, or not next week. I will be picking a prize next video in 2 weeks' time for the next winner for that make along. Talking of which, let's get on with showing you the knitting, because the first thing I want to show you is a half finished object. And whenever a knitting podcaster says to you a half finished or a half FO, you know it's usually going to be one sock or maybe one glove, fingerless glove, mitt, whatever. In this case, it is one sock, and it is the sock for March for the Your Socks and You Know It make along. So that's the wrong bag. The Socks and You Know It make along is all being held through Ravelry, although it's lovely to see people posting on Instagram as well. My colour that I picked out this month by sort of random was this Regia Kaffe Fassett. And look how purpley it looks. Look how purpley it looks. But in real life, once it's knitted up into a sock, it does not look very purpley. So I am not loving this colourway for the lack of purple. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know there's purple there, but somehow it looks more purple. To me, it looked more purple in the ball than it does in the sock. Anyway, having said that, got this done in 2 weeks. It has got a very long leg. So I took the sock to the cinema with me. I cast on the rib and then started actually knitting the leg of the sock when we went to the cinema to watch June, which is very good, but it is very long. And I think I knitted pretty much to there, from there to there, in the 2.5 hours of that film. But I decided I wanted to keep going and do a whole repeat, or well, it's not really a repeat yet, is it? But the whole of all the different colours on the leg before I did the heel flap, which is what I did. So we've got a very long leg on this sock, and then we start again from there. And it just about worked out that the length of the foot was the same as well. So I do quite like that. I've got 2 full repeats, and I do like the fact that obviously I've got purple at the top there. So yes, but there's too much brown on this sock, I feel. But anyway, it's okay, but it's not blowing me away. And because of that, I have literally, that is all I've done. I have not even started the second sock. And usually, as soon as I've cast off or grafted the toe together, I usually try and cast on the second sock pretty much straight away. These will be, for me, they are knitted on 2.5mm needles. 64 not 64 stitches, I lie. I'm doing these on 2.5mm needles, so therefore I'm doing 60 stitches and just plain vanilla. The point of the sock along for me is I am trying to use some of the beautiful self-striping yarns that I have got. So the plan is not to do any particular patterned socks really, other than just doing vanilla stripes. I might do, maybe if I get bored of that, I might do something like the heel toe do-si-do pattern, or another pattern that's kind of designed specifically for self-striping socks. But what I do quite like about this is the fact that I've always got a pair of plain vanilla socks on the go. So yes, that is that. And yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm not loving it. I'm not excited to knit it. But you know, I would say if I go to the cinema again, I'm not planning on going to the cinema again. We went twice in the space of about a week. Although, if something else comes up, because we've been using the Meerkat Movies discount, so we might go to the cinema again. But I would like to get the second sock done in the next 2 weeks anyway. So that is where I have got to with my Socksy socks. The contrast colour is just, again, a Regia, I think it is, that I had. So there we go, that's where we've got to with that sock. Let's take it off that sock blocker, pop it in my bag, with lots of lovely socks, gloves, hats, etc. It's a sparkly bag. So yeah, so we will crack on with the second sock, try and get that finished in the next 2 weeks, because that is the plan, to knit a pair every month. But I did also have another vanilla sock that I had started just before the end of March, because we were going to the cinema and I didn't have anything else to knit on. This sock, which is looking like this. Just coming along very nicely. So when you saw this sock last, I believe, look at that, I actually put in a progress keeper. Hopefully that was where we'd got to. I think we'd got to there, maybe there, I don't know, somewhere on the leg. So I have now obviously done the heel flap and picked up the stitches for the gusset, and so this is another vanilla project, not quite ready for just round and round because I've still got gusset decreases to work on. So this one is more kind of probably long-termish. There's no rush to get this finished. This one is 64 stitches, I think I even actually on this one did twisted rib on the cuff, feeling fancy. I did deliberately cut the yarn to start it there, so it's nice and easy to pick to start the second sock in the same place. And I quite like actually the heel flap with those colours. And I don't think it matters. I think it's going to work out okay. Yeah, so quite pleased with those. This yarn is Stylecraft, I think. Yeah, Stylecraft Head Over Heels, which is a sock yarn that they do. The colourway is Stride, and it's the Walking in Nature line, which is designed by Stuart Hilliard, who is I believe he won the Great Sewing Bee a few years ago, and he is a quilter, and I know does some design work just for Stylecraft, I think. So yes, okay, that's in my yarn nail bag from 2 years ago. So that one now probably, let me just change the progress keeper. That now won't necessarily get any work on it unless I finish the stripy ones, and again need just a vanilla sock to knit on when we go out somewhere, particularly somewhere if it's dark. Right, okay, I've moved the progress keeper there. Right, so 2 pairs of socks that I have been working on. There is a third pair, so while we're talking about socks, let me show you the third pair of socks. This I did think I would have finished by now actually. I am close to finishing. It is the beautiful Woodland Walk pattern by this Handmade Life, which is really, really pretty. And you can see, I don't know where I got to, so I will put a progress keeper on here this time. Now there are a couple of mistakes on this bit because I have been taking this to a knit and natter, and although the lace pattern isn't very tricky, I have made a couple of mistakes where I've just been chatting and but you'd have to look quite closely to see that. So I am probably 3/4 of the way down the leg. This is the second sock. The first sock is still at Nibbles, Needles and Hooks, the shop in Lower Pilsley in Derbyshire, because this yarn is my own hand-dyed yarn, and at the moment, all through the month of March, it is available to buy at Nibbles, Needles and Hooks. Let me just put my progress keeper. This was the progress. So originally this yarn was launched as part of a Christmas Eve set, and you did get a little Father Christmas stitch marker. The sock sets without the stitch marker are still available in the shop. There are some on the sparkle base and there are some on the luxury base. So they're available in my Etsy shop, and they are available at the moment through to the end of March, while the stocks last, as they say, Nibbles, Needles and Hooks. Now I've also got a couple of yarn shows coming up, so if there are any of these left, they will be taken there as well. So the first yarn show I've got coming up is the Sodbury Yarn Over, which is in Chipping Sodbury, just outside Bristol, and I am just going to talk about that very briefly. That yarn show, it's brand new, it looks like it is going to be amazing. There are some big name indie dyers at that yarn show, and then there's little old me. So there is like Pixie Yarns going to be there, Rosie's Moments is going to be there, Bellica Yarns, so they will have big stands. And then there'll be lots of new people that perhaps you've not seen before, smaller ones. It's in 2 buildings in the village centre, town centre, and they've got a sheep trail, and it just looks like it's going to be a really lovely weekend. It's the 6th and 7th of April. It's not far out of Bristol, so it's in Gloucestershire, not far from Bristol. I think maybe 10 miles away from Bristol. So if you live in anywhere sort of near that area, check it out. And it is the first year. It looks like it's going to be fantastic. I just hope that they get the support from people actually coming to the show, because obviously if the show it doesn't go well, if there aren't many people there, then obviously it might not happen again another year. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've got my accommodation booked. Yeah, I've still got 2-3 weeks to go. I'm going to be dying every weekend between now and then to make sure the stock levels are looking good. And then I have another show 2 weeks after that near Milton Keynes, and that's at an alpaca farm called Alpaca Evolution. And so I don't know that I've seen so much information about the other vendors at that one actually. But yeah, so if you are in that area, over more like the Milton Keynes area, Alpaca Evolution Fibre Weekend, I think they're calling it. So, and that's actually on the alpaca farm there, so that's exciting as well. So yes, there's my little plug for yarn shows that I am definitely going to be at. I am also doing the Nibbles, Needles and Hooks pop-up shop at their afternoon tea in August, which is obviously a much smaller event. But unfortunately, some of the other shows that I have done in the past, I couldn't even apply to do this year because they changed the dates slightly and they fall into the period where I'm going to be exam marking, and I just can't do both. So really the end of May, June and July is kind of out for me. So yeah, I can't even really apply for any shows that are happening at that time, unfortunately. Alright, so yeah, so there's another sock. Really, I should have had that finished by now, but it's been in my car and I've just been doing it at Knit and Natter, so it's not had that much time spent on it. Okay, what else have we done? Right, I'll tell you what I have worked on quite a lot. So last time I said I've been working on a blanket for my parents-in-law. Oh! And it's a blanket where you need to make 40 squares, and I'd got 3 left to do last time I saw you, and I have finished all the squares and they're all stringed together, and I'm just now on the border. Yes. It's really big, really big. I am not gonna lie, this is not my finest work. This is not perhaps the blanket I am most proud of. The squares are not all the same size. Some of it is a little bit wonky, and then the actual crochet join isn't exactly the prettiest of joins, but I have done it like this deliberately. So my in-laws, well, partly also because not all the squares are exactly the same number of rows and things like that, I just kind of went with a joining method that was going to be quite forgiving. But I've also used a very strong contrast colour because this is a gift for my parents-in-law. My parents-in-law are both partially sighted. My father-in-law is about 90% blind and my mother-in-law is about 70% blind. We joke in front of literally the blind leading the blind. They joke about it. They both live together independently still and are amazing people, and I love them to bits. So yeah, so I decided to start knitting a blanket for them. Oh, I've been planning on doing a blanket for them for ages, and then this blanket design sort of came out. It's the Stitch on Sunday blanket, and it is a lovely blanket, don't get me wrong, and each square is a different lace pattern. But I think one of the squares, it might have told me to do however many repeats, and actually I don't think that was enough repeats. I think I should have done another repeat of the pattern. So that square is much shorter than the rest, and I thought, oh, perhaps it just needs stretching out, but yeah, I think maybe I either misread it or perhaps there's a typo on that one. Other than that though, you know, the patterns are well supported with instructions, and I think there are videos you can watch as well. It's by Menzies and it's a free pattern. So because of that, because my in-laws, has there been any story I've told you today where I've stayed on track actually, you know, I feel like I just keep going, whee, here's a tangent. Oh, back, bring it back, Amanda. Whee, there's another tangent. Bring it back, Amanda. I am sorry if it's a bit like that this afternoon. I didn't even tell you what day of the week it was. I always record at the weekend. What date it is, what time of day. Tangent, tangent. Come on, Amanda. Right. It is Saturday, March the 16th. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 to 5. It's 10 to 5 in the afternoon. And quite clearly, I'm going mad. Right, let's have a look at this. I still haven't explained, have I? Right, so I have crocheted this together as my joining method. So the crochet is quite obvious, the crochet isn't beautiful and neat, and the crochet is in a contrast colour, so that my in-laws can kind of identify the fact that it's made up of lots of different squares. And the fact that it's all different lace, all right, means as well it's got beautiful texture. So for people who can't see terribly clearly, I'm hoping they will like the fact that they've all got different textures. There we go. That's the reason why it's got cream crocheted together. Well, or none of the other colours are cream. Ta-da! And there's a lot of ends still to sew in. So it is 8 by 5. Yeah, that would make 40, wouldn't it? So each strip is 5 squares. I've used the same 5 colours on each strip. So this is all Stylecraft Special DK. We've got plum, rose, it might be vintage rose, teal, fuchsia pink and meadow. So you can see where I've started to do a border. All I've done there is kind of just like single crochet, double crochet, all the way around at the moment. So it is huge. I have taken a picture of it now that it's all joined together, so I will put that picture there. Obviously there's lots of ends still to sew in, and the yarn that I'm using to sew it together, crochet it together, is not Stylecraft Special DK. It was just a baby DK that was from somewhere like Poundland, I think. It might even say on here. No, I think it was somewhere like Poundland, because it even says it's 3 for 2. I think it was Poundland. So it's knitting essentials for baby in cream, and I've had this a long time. So what I'm really pleased about though is once I've got this finished, and I will have it finished soon, is 2,500 metres this will be, or 2,400 metres out of stash. Yay. This is at least 10 years old, this cream, because I found when I pulled it out, I had started knitting a tiny baby cardigan on it, and that was for somebody, a colleague of mine, who was having twins and so needed tiny baby cardigans knitted, and in the end I knitted it in a different colour or did a different design, but she had those babies, it's got to be 10 years ago. So yes, so it will be 2,500 metres out of stash. Some of this is stashed yarn from quite a few years ago, and I started this project about nearly 2 or 3 years ago as well. So all of these things, plus I will finally give a blanket to my parents-in-law. So yeah, so you can see each square is a different lace pattern, and actually most of them are fine. There's just a couple where it's a little bit wonky. I think the cream does look nice, as this is what I mean though about, you know, crocheting it together, and also some of the edges, because of the lace pattern, some of the edges aren't very straight anyway, but I think it's quite. What do you think? I actually don't want you to tell me what you think. If you think it hasn't worked, don't tell me that. Just tell me if you like it. If you don't like it, don't tell me. There's no need. No need to say anything nasty, is there? Or mean. Just be nice. And if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. I don't really want a proper review of it. Why would you do that? Why would you go onto somebody's YouTube comments just to tell them that? No, I think that looks hideous. Please don't do that. I mean, let's face it. You know, I'm sure we do all see some things on people's YouTube channels that we kind of go, no, I wouldn't do that. But we don't tell them that, do we? So, if you don't like it, just don't say anything. If you do think that the crochet looks fine, then, or lie, tell me. Oh no, don't say anything because I won't believe anything anyone puts. Right. Anyway, I like it, and I think from a distance it looks fine. On camera it looks fine. Close up, not so much. Are my in-laws going to be able to look at it close up? No, they're not. And I'm really just hoping that they are going to love it. Am I a bad daughter-in-law? I'm going to make you a blanket, but it's not very good. Does that make me a bad daughter-in-law? Oh, it's not that it's not very good. It's just, it's not perfect, is it? Right. So I have been, another reason why I really wanted to get that blanket finished was I was desperate to start a new blanket. Desperate, desperate, desperate. And I've already started it, even though that one isn't quite finished. But it's so nearly finished. So I let myself cast on my new one. I say cast on, it's actually more of a hook on. Oh, but I'm not, yes, I will show you that next. Yeah. It's more of a new hook on because it's crochet. It is one of the Lucy from Attic 24. It is one of her patterns, and it's actually the Spring Frost pattern, which was a make along from January last year, 2023. How pretty is that? So I bought the yarn pack for this, I think about May time last year, maybe a little bit later, May, June, somewhere around that. So the knit along, the crochet along had already finished by that point anyway. It's all in Stylecraft Special DK, and it's absolutely gorgeous shades. Really, really beautiful shades. Look at those. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. And so I have started this. I even did, you're not going to believe this, I even did a gauge swatch. I know, right? Who am I? So there's my gauge swatch. And I measured it, and I was about maybe a centimetre less than she said, and she said if you're between that amount of centimetres and that amount of centimetres, you're fine. And I was within that. So I think it's supposed to be 17 centimetres and mine was 16, and it said if you're between 15 and 18 or something, yeah, go for it. So yeah. So that was the gauge swatch. And now look at this. Not only have I started this, but I have been sewing in the ends as I go. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Oh, look at the colours. Look at the colours on that. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? It's quite long. So each row at the moment is taking me about 25 minutes, I think. The pattern is really quite straightforward. Now again, one of the reasons why I did the gauge swatch and why Lucy recommended that you do the gauge swatch as well is that it also gets you to practice the stitch pattern. So that is what I did. So I practiced the stitch pattern on there, got that sorted. And yes, it's taken me about 25 minutes to do a row, so it's not terribly fast, but it's so pretty. And just look at the shades, isn't it absolutely gorgeous? So yeah, so I have the whole pack of all the different Stylecraft yarn, bought over a year ago, so again it is more stash that is being used. And here is the full pack of all the beautiful colours. And I'm really enjoying that. Really enjoying that. But I'm not allowing myself to do too much on it yet, as I say, because I really need to finish the other one first. I think I've done as much as I'm going to on that on the Stitch on Sunday blanket for today though, because I've been working on it all afternoon. So yeah, it took me 50 grams as well on the Stitch on Sunday blanket. Back to that one. Random. Please try and keep up. Took me 50 grams just to use, 50 grams of the cream just to join all the squares together. So I've only got 50 grams of the cream left to do the border. So not sure. It's probably just going to be 2 or 3 rows of treble crochet round as a border. That'll do. Right, okay. So that was a new cast on, hook on, a new project. And there is another new project which, if you are regular viewers, you've probably been thinking, come on Amanda, where is it? Where is the Whitmoor? So, as you might recall, you guys voted. I gave you a choice of 3 projects for me to cast on, and you voted for the Whitmoor in the blue sparkly Aldi yarn. And I went to cast it on, and I had a bit of a problem. I just did not have quite the right combination of needles. I did not have quite the right combination of needle tips and length of cable that I needed, and yeah, I ended up having to order some new needles, and they took a week to arrive, or nearly a week, and by the time with doing other things, so I didn't start this till last weekend. So I've been working on it a week, haven't done anything on it yet today either. So I've been working on it a week. I don't think I've done badly. Here we are. So it is in the sparkly acrylic yarn that was bought from Aldi. What did I reckon? At least 12 years ago, something like that. I couldn't find it on Ravelry because I thought, oh, I'll check in my stash on Ravelry, because I do put a lot of my stash yarn on Ravelry. But it wasn't in there, and I think I knew why it wasn't in there is because when I went to try and add it, that yarn wasn't already on Ravelry, so I've had to add it myself. And I don't know how many metres, so I've had to take a bit of a guess at how many metres there are per ball. But here we are. I think it is looking lovely, even if I say so myself. When I first started knitting with it, I was like, ooh, it is a bit scratchy. It's definitely scratchier than the sparkle yarn that I dye myself. But as I've been working with it, it feels like it's softening up, and I wonder if also once it's been washed, if it will soften. But oh, I mean, you can't see it terribly well because obviously the size needles it's on. I don't know how long I've got to go before I split the sleeves. The pattern itself, the pattern is complicated in respect that there's a lot of charts and there's a lot of pages. You wouldn't want to print it all out, that's for sure. So there's a lot of pages. To work through to get to the right chart each time. So I haven't got a clue how much further I need to go before I'm going to be splitting the sleeves. I'm just literally just making sure I'm doing the next bit and then the next bit and then the next bit. There are a lot of stitch markers which it tells you to use, and you absolutely should use them. The only people I know who've had any problem with kind of following the charts and messing up the lace is if you don't put those stitch markers in. If you put all those stitch markers in, you know straight away if you've got a mistake. And there is one place where I had got a mistake, and because of the stitch markers, literally the next row round, I knew I'd got a mistake, and sure enough, I dropped a stitch, picked that up and sorted it out. So yeah, if you knit this, I absolutely recommend get yourself some of the light bulb stitch markers, and because they're dead cheap. And they may not be the prettiest, but they are cheap. Get yourself some of those and just make sure that you put those in each time. And yeah, so you wait now, I'm going to mess up the next bit. So I'm hopefully going to work on this for a little bit this evening, but then I will be having a glass of wine or two, and this is definitely not a pattern to be working on after a glass of wine or two. So I'll knit on it for a little bit and then move on to something safer. But yeah. So the colour is greener than it is showing on my screen. It's a turquoise blue, so it's more of a greeny blue than it's showing on there. It is a very pretty colour though. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about them, other than the fact, obviously, as I say, I had to wait a little while. I'm on the second 50 gram ball. I've only got that much left of that second one, but I have got 12 balls in total, so I should have plenty. So the needles that I bought and the cables that I needed to buy were Knit Pro, which is what I tend to, although I have got some ChowGoo which are lovely, I do tend to usually go for Knit Pro. And I've noticed now that Knit Pro have started packaging in cardboard rather than plastic, which I totally support, apart from the fact that the plastic ones had got a little bit of a sticky tab. So I'm a bit concerned about how, if I try to keep these in there, that they're going to fall out. But I don't tend to keep them in the packaging. Once I finish using them, they'll probably go into, I've got like more like a folder with all the different cables and things in. So right, that just leaves me with acquisitions. I have 2 acquisitions to show you. One is a book and one is some yarn. Yarn, you say, Amanda? Thought you weren't buying yarn. Well, I'm not. I am and I'm not. I'm trying not to buy much yarn and I'm trying to use more than I buy. Can't promise that I won't buy some when I go to the Sodbury Yarn Over, because there will be some yarn dyers there that I have not had the opportunity to see in person before. So I'm definitely not saying I'm not buying there. But anyway, first thing I bought is a book, and this book has a couple of projects in it that I have been admiring. Whether I actually ever get to knit these, I don't know, but I can still admire them in my book now. So it's a Rowan book, and on the front cover is one of the sweaters that I have been admiring. Oh, how beautiful is that jumper? So this is Rowan Felted Tweed book by Lisa Richardson. Absolutely love that one on the front. And I like this one on the back too. I'll show you some of the other projects in here. So this is the jumper that I was just saying about. So I love the colours on that. I love the design on it. Yeah, I really like that. There's more pictures of it here. And this is Rowan Felted Tweed, which is DK. Now, Skeepies do one called Terrazzo, which is very similar to the Felted Tweed. This is the cardigan. No, I don't think it's steeked. I think it's knit in pieces, actually. That is the cardigan. That is beautiful as well. There's a jumper here, not sponsored about that one. If you like stuff a little bit plainer. It's not my bag, that jumper. I do quite like this, although it's a very low V-neck. I might change that if I did it. But I like the dots. Kind of the dotted effect. But I think I would have to make that V-neck a bit higher. Then we have, I like this, we have a nice wrap cardigan. I like that one a lot, actually. As I say, it's all DK weight, so I have plenty, well, I say plenty, but I have got other DK weight yarn in my stash. So a lacy scarf there. Colour block one, this one. Actually, I get because I don't like those colours. But if that was in pinks and purples, I'd probably be all over it. So here's the range of different colours that you can get for felted tweed in, and I think then the rest of this is just the instructions for each one. Yeah, I think so anyway. Yeah, so as I say, there's quite a few in there that I do really like. So that's one acquisition. And then the second acquisition was one of my charity shop bargains. Because if you watch this channel, you know that I do like a charity shop. I really like charity shops because I try not to buy new clothes. Any new clothes that I buy, I try to buy second hand, or I try to buy well, yeah, generally speaking, second hand. So So I'm just looking at this wool now thinking, oh, has it been eaten? It might have been nibbled at there. I might have to double check that there's nothing. That can be the problem with charity shop yarn. Looks like there's one little bit. Anyway, but we'll have a look. So anyway, this was in the charity shop. It is sock wool and it was 75p. And I think it will make a nice pair of socks for my husband. So it's Fortissima Socker. It's a German sock yarn, and I don't know why, but I always think German sock yarns, because I suppose Regia is German. I swear Opal is German. So it's like, I feel like Germany is kind of known for making good sock yarns. I am a bit worried because literally as I was looking at it just then, I can see a little bit that has been, I don't know if it's been nibbled or whether it's just been, I don't know. But anyway, if we look, it's kind of a Fair Isle type effect. I think it would be a nice pair of socks for my husband, and it was 75p. And honestly, I cannot see, I think, I saw one bit there where it looked like it had been, but I don't know, I'm pulling this yarn off, because I was thinking, oh, is that why they've put, but I can't see. No, it looks fine. It looks fine. And I have had yarn that's been eaten before in my own stash. And normally you can see where something has gone through because it's not just one bit. So I'm not going to stress over that. I think we're all good. No, I can't see anywhere else where that's... so I think we're all good. But now I've taken the band off. So yeah, I think that is going to be a very nice... yeah, that's the bit, look there, it's just actually, so I'm going to, don't know that it was nibbled where something just got caught on it, that was it there. So I'm just going to take that bit off, and I can't see anything else wrong with that, so I think we're all good. We're all good. I think maybe something had got caught on it or something like that, so we'll throw that bit off. And yeah, pair of socks for the husband, because he came into the charity shop and he said, oh, have you found the wool? I went, yes, but this is going to be for a pair of socks for you. And he went, oh, that's all right then. And it was, say, 75p. So I'm definitely still more out than in, and especially once I've got the blanket finish, which is 2,500 metres, it doesn't matter that I've brought in 400 metres of that, does it? No, it doesn't. All right, I think I'm done. If you want to join in with the Socksy and You Know It make along, and then pop onto our Ravelry forums. The links for that is down below, and we will be drawing winners from the February thread. I was going to say in the next podcast, but possibly might be the one after, because that thread doesn't close until the 31st of March. And the 31st of March is actually Easter Sunday, and I'll probably be filming on the Saturday, so you might, anyway, you've got till the 31st of March to get any entries that any pair of socks, adult socks, that you started in February, put it into the February thread, even if you didn't finish it until March. After the 31st of March though, it can't go be entered, and then any socks that you started in March goes into the March thread. But again, you'll have to the end of April. So for each pair of socks, you have got 2 months. Thank you very, very much for everybody who's been entering those, by the way. It's been amazing. So there's loads in the February thread again now as well. So we will be drawing a prize for that. But I actually think that is going to be in 4 weeks' time, because I think the next time I film won't quite be when that thread is closed. So, right, it's enough of my rambling. Thank you for all your love and support, and I really appreciate everybody who comes back and watches this. And yeah, it's all a bit crazy, isn't it? Speak to you soon. Bye.